Hello Franz Mew here, and today we're going to take a look at something in Pokemon that I know a fair bit about. It's been in Pokemon since day one and not a whole lot of people understand it. Today we're talking about hypnosis, how it works, whether it works, and if it works in real life in any way the same as it does in game. Let's go. We'll start with some history. As early as the 1800s, hypnosis was being used as an anesthetic. James Esdale claims to have performed over 300 major surgeries using what he called mesmeric sleep in what is now modern-day India. The mesmeric sleep system continued to be used up until about the mid-1800s, where it was replaced with things like chloroform and local anesthetic. It was then picked up by Hippolyta Bernheim as a therapeutic measure. It was used to treat hysteria, and it wasn't until the 1900s where Sigmund Freud commented that it was the entertainers rather than the psychiatrists that are keeping hypnosis alive. It has then been used in tandem both as a form of entertainment on stage and screen, and in therapy, psychiatry, psychology as a means to treat anxiety, stress and other things. Well, that's what it was, but what is it now? Well, in 1832, psychologist James Braid described neurohypnotism, or sleep of the nerves, as thusly.
The powers of the mind are so much engrossed with a single idea or train of thought as to render the individual unconscious of or indifferently conscious to all other ideas, impressions or trains of thought. The hypnotic sleep, therefore, is the very antithesis or opposite mental and physical condition to that which precedes and accompanies common sleep.
And I mean, kudos, got it in one. Don't really need to redefine that. But that's like old world sciencey talking. Let's sort of redefine that for modern words. Hypnosis puts you in a state where you're not quite asleep, but you're focused on one thing way more than you're focused on literally everything else around you. It's not quite asleep, as that little indicator says, but it's easier than putting in the word trance because they're functionally similar until you start giving commands. In that sense, hypnosis is functionally identical to meditation, which is weird because meditate is a positive move in Pokemon and hypnosis is a negative. You tried, Game Freak, and you got about halfway there. So what is hypnosis and how does it work? Can you just go and have someone fall immediately into a hypnotic trance? Well, not quite. This is what's called a hypnotic induction, and there are two major types of them. There's the slower, more therapeutic, the more meditative one, and then there's what's called a snap induction. Slow inductions take a number of forms, including eye mirroring, physical body movement, and eye fixation. Eye fixation is the one that most people are familiar with, as it involves making the participant see a small repetitive motion and watch it over and over again. This used to be done with the rocking of a pendulum or pocket watch. This puts the participant in a calm, inner focused state and allows the hypnotist to slowly draw them into the meditative trance that they need to be in. This is the basis of the Pokemon Hypno, who of course holds and swings a pendulum to induce hypnosis on its victims. So big tick for Game Freak, you got that one right. The other kind of induction is what's called a snap induction. And instead of describing that, you're gonna watch one of the experts. Here's a clip from a video by a guy called Anthony Jacquin, who literally wrote the Bible on hypnosis. It's a book called Reality is Plastic. Here is him snap inducting a bartender.
That you're his favourite Hollywood superstar. Look at the spot on your hand, look at it. Look at that spot, right, just relax your arms, relax every muscle, every nerve, every fibre, just relax. Your head can fall forward like a bowling ball as you relax and go deep asleep now. Deep, 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 deep asleep. Your head will rest on my hand. You're safe, you're well, you're protected. Just go deep, deep asleep. As I rock your shoulder, you can go 10 times deeper, 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 and deeper. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Your eyes will open, you'll stand up, and you'll believe that I am Denzel Washington, the world-famous movie star Denzel Washington.
As you can see, he goes to shake the man's hand, which is a process that we can all do without thinking. Anthony then interrupts the process by grabbing the man's hand. Interrupting a reflex process like this kind of shuts the brain down temporarily. They're working on autopilot and they've been left with nothing to do. As you can see in the video, Anthony takes advantage of this by filling the gap in the brain's processing with a number of commands and confident motions, which the bartender is forced to agree with since he literally has no other processes in place. The bartender takes the initial command, which then allows Jacquin to put him in a state and then induce his Denzel Washington commands. This is the closest thing we have to the move hypnosis in real life, and while it's not exactly, it's close enough. So I'll give half a point to Game Freak because They weren't gonna put in an entire trance-inducing minigame, although that would be really cool. I'd play that. Interestingly, later in the video, Jacqueline puts the bartender back into a trance, and it's a lot easier because he doesn't have to lay the initial groundwork. He just goes basically straight back into the trance on command. Game Freak could have mirrored this by making hypnosis easier to land if it's landed before in the battle, but balance-wise that would be a train wreck, so I totally see why they didn't do that. So I give them an 8 out of 10 for that hypnosis move. Good on you, Game Freak. I'm not sure if you did your research or if you just looked out at the commands, but I do have one little bone of contention, and that is with a move combo that is used quite a lot by in-game players. I'm not sure how it is competitive, but in-game players use it a lot. Even gym leaders use it. That is Gengar's Hypnosis Dream Eater combination. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon's Pokedex entry describes Dream Eater as thus. The user eats the dreams of a sleeping target. Half the damage is restored as HP. I'm not going to try and explain the logic of eating dreams. I'm just going to take it as rote that a ghost or psychic Pokemon can literally reach into your head and devour your dreams to restore their health. No. My bone of contention comes with, when you're in a hypnotic trance, you're not asleep. You're not dreaming. So if you're not dreaming, there's nothing for poor little Gengar to eat. Sorry boy, no snacks for you. And that is a big cross on that for Game Freak. So as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but this is more of a 1.5 out of 3 ain't bad, which is, well, 1.8, I'll be generous. I'm gonna give them a C-. Well, Hypnosis, what do you think? Agree, disagree? Leave a comment below, let's start a discussion. If not in the comments, then try my socials, they're all in there in the description, along with my Twitch link. I'm streaming 3 times a week, playing Pokemon, House Flipper, and a whole bunch of other chill stuff. It's a nice time for everybody involved. But, until next time, love you, bye.